Hello and welcome to Business Incorporated. Many thanks for being a part of the program. I am Bolaji Akiwale. This week, our focus is on the cash management system of government in Nigeria. In the past, there are issues surrounding government's liquidity status. This is coupled with the fact that there has been the non-remittance of funds to the Federation account by some government agencies. We'll be looking at these issues on the program. Our guest is the Accountant General of the Federation, Mr. Jonah Otunla. We'll go on a break now, and when we come back, we'll take you through some of our business headlines.
22 airports around the country, an industry that generates billions of naira, connecting millions for business and leisure, will put you through the paces and give you an insider's view on the aviation industry. Watch Aviation This Week, only on Channels Television. Aviation This Week, keeping an eye on the aviation industry.
Reports say the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission will soon send the draft revenue formula to the presidency. The draft copy to be sent to the president must be ratified by members of the committee set up for drafting and preparing the document, which is scheduled to meet at an undisclosed date within the month. It is the responsibility of the president to lay the new revenue sharing formula before the National Assembly for legislation. In December last year, members of the commission were said to have unanimously adopted the draft, where all the submissions, relevant documents and input from stakeholders were analyzed and considered. The last time the revenue allocation formula was generally reviewed was in 1992, although constitutionally the document is supposed to be amended every 4 years. The revenue sharing formula, which has remained a controversial subject in the country, refers to the proportion of resources accruing to the Federation that goes to each of the 3 tiers of government. It also defines the proportion of resources that must be retained in the territories where they are generated, as well as what goes to the agencies of government that collect the revenues on behalf of the Federation. The Nigerian economy has so far recorded increased growth in its domestic funds, showing signs of sustained and substantial improvement. Despite this number, muted by the growing challenge of wealth inequality, concerns continue to linger as to whether foreign investors would continue to patronize the Nigerian market. The answer must be, why not? Foreign investors are known to invest in growing businesses as well as growing economies, and Nigeria, being a frontier and growing economy, opens up opportunities for investors, both domestic and foreign, to participate fully and grow their investment compared to returns from other similar type of markets. The National Bureau of Statistics reveals that the Nigerian economy has been growing at an average of 6% since 2013. The gross domestic product grew by 6.56% and 6.18% in the first and second quarter of last year, growing further to 6.81% in the third quarter, with a projected growth of 7.7% at the end of the fourth quarter. According to Dr. Kingsley Mohalu, the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank in charge of financial system stability, the Nigerian economy is expected to grow strongly in 2014, driven by high oil prices and robust domestic demand. A look into the domestic and foreign investors' participation profile for year ended 2013 showed that foreign portfolio investment on the Nigerian bourse increased in that year. Foreign participation, which represents about 36.89% of the total transaction consummated as at January 2013, gradually increased to an aggregate figure of 51.43% as at October, while domestic investors' participation, which was recorded at 63.11% in January, dropped to 48.57% in October. A recap of historical trends shows that foreign investors accounted for 14.8% of total transaction in 2007 and consistently increased to 61.4% in 2012, while the participation of local investors shrunk from 85.2% in 2007 to 38.6% in 2012. It is therefore an informed position to expect that foreign investors will continue to patronize the Nigerian market, as the key initiatives of the NSE management remains geared towards driving and sustaining optimistic sentiments.
Don't forget to do this.
The Accountants General of the Federation, the Auditor General of the Federation, and CEOs of ministries, departments and agencies of government gathered in this hall to acquaint themselves with the Government Integrated Financial Management Information System, GIFMIS, and the Treasury Single Account, TSA. According to the Accountants General of the Federation, Mr. Jonah Otunla, this project will aid in promoting efficiency and transparency in government's cash management.
Prior to the introduction of TSA, we have fragmented banking arrangements for revenue and payment transactions. Government was contending with more than 10,000 bank accounts scattered in various banks. It led to pockets of idle cash balances held in MDA's accounts, while government continued to borrow at very high cost.
Some other benefits that GIFMIS and TSA are expected to deliver include checking bank fraud and making the budgeting processes more efficient.
If there's a debit in the bank statement, without the authority of the accounting officer, no check was used, no instruction for the bank to have that debit, and then you are just saying there's a debit on the bank statement, not in the cash book. Then there's something funny. And some of those transactions will take place for a long period of time, also a year, the money has not been returned. Then it means there's something funny about that. So a lot of sharp practices were going on. So I think with the introduction of this, a lot of children will take some of those sharp practices will be curtailed.
Was the budget manager set the ceiling? You cannot exceed once you, by $1 once you exceed your budget, the system will lock you out. You cannot. That is one of the reasons why I was so happy. I am thanking the Accountant General.
This is the first time this sensitization meeting is done outside Abuja since it started in February last year. The expectation is that the over 400 MDAs in Nigeria plug into this novel initiative of government to achieve the set goals.
The federal government recently introduced a new cash management system to the 6 geopolitical zones in the country. This is known as the Government Integrated Financial Management Information System, GIFMIS. The Accountant General of Federation, Jonah Otunla, explains to Business Incorporated how this system will make government expenditure more efficient and effective. First of all, what is the purpose of GIFMIS?
GIFMIS, which is an acronym for Government Integrated Financial Management Information System, is simply put a public financial management reform program. The significant part of which is a treasury single account. The purpose is basically for efficient cash management policy of government. I mean, all of that things are secondary to this, but the central theme is that government should have an efficient and transparent cash management system. So, and that's the purpose for which GIFMIS is established: good governance, transparency, accountability.
GIFMIS has been operational in Abuja. Could you tell us what is the level of success?
We are in Abuja. All the ministries in Abuja are already on GIFMIS, and by our facing formula, 2014 is the date we have set for agencies outside Abuja. But the level of impact in Abuja is so tremendous that payments are made on a real-time basis, and the reports are generated automatically, and the impact is very, very significant.
In specific terms, what impact has this really made in Abuja, making reference to specific MDAs, for instance?
Well, call it experiment, but from our performance in Abuja, we've had the GME system has made it possible for agencies to access their funds directly. Once you put there's a budgetary provision for an agency of government, for example, the money is put on TSA, and then agencies have immediate access to it. They don't need to wait for any cash backing or any of those manual things that are always causing delay. So the impact has been very, very useful in that people have immediate access to their fund once there's a cash backing. And the concept of cash backing again has a little bit been modified in the sense that gone were the days when there will be releases and then people will still be waiting for money. What the Office of the Accountant General does is that our cash plan is based on available fund. Once we know the fund that is available for government generally, then we do a cash plan that is consistent with that. And immediately we do that, we release to budget office, and then budget office, in conjunction with us, we just appropriate the money to the agencies. So there's no anxiety of I have releases, I don't have cash backing. Cash backing and cash releases have been collapsed into a congruent term.
What other government ministries or parties are involved in this GIFMIS?
Major parties are situated in Ministry of Finance. You have the Budget Office of the Federation, then you have the Office of the Accountant General. As a pay, the CBN also plays a very crucial role in the payment system. They are the payment gate through which the GIFMIS is effectively transmitted to the agencies.
In what ways can this system curb corruption in the country?
The GIFMIS is what we call a system that makes everybody involved to be held accountable. The person who initiates a payment, the person who reviews it, the person who approves it, everybody is documented in a system that is checkable, and then at every point in time, anybody that is involved in a transaction is establishable and identifiable. So in the process, and then in the reporting system, the report generated by GIFMIS is such that it is accurate and straight to the point. So the issue of manipulation of payment system to be at variance with appropriation has been completely eliminated. If something is not, if a budget line is not appropriated for, under GIFMIS you cannot make a payment on it. So it curbs diversion of fund. The value for one aspect of GIFMIS which we are trying to do in the future is the value for money audit, so that we'll be sure that fund is money is expended on purposes for which they are intended, and with that value for money audit, then the issue of corruption will be greatly reduced.